any a problem. Nina ya chemicals out I've been friends who are ye be yeduane a ye nom bi ekoyam. Ye what the whole show. Now, Dr. Afriye, one of the NPP MPs in Ashanti region, I say Galamsey the omunya to nyana china. Na ye per se ye demonstration yen crying to Galamsey or Hanum. NPP National Men Organizer Kid Force say yen to abanu we are and sana yen abetana and crowd or no crowd but TSMC yai. But say a quack to about 2 months pa or say Yinya Galamsey Kruma party MPP Amanu Kunisenya dear say Omofaso. Yen share the whole show ne from the various angles conversation koso. Now yen share the national interest.
Yes. The day I mentioned will be out here Radio Good about Facebook ne baby na menkase da nyamia sese nan so yasen abehia bi man issues no doso said we see can galam say so also radio TV if you go to the social media landscape and say me take you back to 2016 not me take you back to 2020 prior to elections in these 2 years siamaka ho aseme ya anytime about radio any conversation in Ghana is centered on the economy of this country. Every single discussion into election every year in this country has always been about the state of Ghana's economy. CD rate, exchange rate, the state of doing business, enterprises. You're trying to say Ghana, your debt sustainability, and how your career, the whole economic space, and then the driver of the conversation. This is the first time I go into election in this country. And for the first time in this country, the lead conversation, it is not economy, it is environment. Why? Because the economy has been destroyed. Economy of Ghana has been shattered into fragments. It is not worthy. Those in power are Dr. Bawumia ne presence in politics in Ghana came about because of onim economy. Yes. And into the Akufo-Addo Jina sit in the buy. Or no na oye lead candidate for the MPP. Never on any platform and the Wajina I can't anything about the economy. Today, somebody who came as an economist, a pride in a home as your friend saying digital man, creating an impression as be on the internet by Ghana. But this guy has never lay a single cable. There is no single digital infrastructure in this country. These are the digital infrastructure you invest in for the takeover. There is none. Economy no because dollar now over 4 cities and I'm 16 cities. And the pound and I'm 20 cities. And then externally. So Ghana bontin so kobobo say where the price na be pamo because and on the external bond market Ghana ain't mean ko because credit score be na what they call status a junk and yako China kopa China for acha wo Ghana for pa yakopa China for acha you know how difficult it is yako jina China for any poor mo chaw say yaka no modern because China is our biggest your friend saying bilateral creditor ye do mo ka ye poor mo chaw the Paris Club and the bond market restructuring Ghana niya wachira there for almost 30 years alcohol retirement or nisika koto your friend is saying treasure bill government is forcing those people to exchange the maturation of their investment to a data because I buy watching so for the first time nobody is talking about the economy because economy atitia pansam and Akufo-Addo's government say and you're worthy of any conversation within the political discourse. So I idea back one we person Ghana for Adwini so why today Galamsey and the environment and they drive the conversation for the first time in the history of this country going into an election. And Galamsey no akame about enya by accident. President Akufo-Addo catch Ghana for say me presidency atolai no so say ba say me lose elections kura na say Galamsey no betun fight here ebeboa not knowing say na a bare-faced lies because that has always been his your friend saying blueprint or the president is a deceptive your friend a deceptive character you can't trust him. His whole presidency was built on fraud. Deceive so he didn't mean any and from that day galamsey na koswa to the extent say ne abewura ye hwena no ema yensuo over the years and a source of water Ghana for ne omanfo muti nkurase Ghana Water Company ejina so a supply so to the people of this country and akwa ne saa nsuo no nyina aye poisonous. Me who research be ada bontin say yam ene cassava ne niama every Ghana echo US no omo aye some research and investigation who say ni nyina contain high level of metals all because of this galamsey. This is how menacing the situation has become. This is how dangerous the situation has become. Now we sound that then what is the level of commitment on the part of the executive say wona wukura power to ensure that some of these things you be crack it down on individuals omo yes ade we state no committee a single resource into investigating why na to galamsey e okroma say there hasn't been any single paid for investigation akwaso okroma a state no sponsored. Fortunately no yenya individuals in their private enterprises no are taking upon themselves ubenya the fourth estate investigation at the names abeto abonten ubenya anas investigation at the names begu abonten. And in the middle of all these investigation I cause no wache enye ordinary person be a teacher ni bi ote akurase ena ni di meta odwa a high ranking government official, people sitting at the higher echelons of political power, individuals ya liberty or more executive tag, and these people are in the forest mining. And as I say, President Akufo-Addo no so the presidency at all no so say wa fakrata asanya executive instrument ama your first LI 2462 ama man for the power says say there wa mama kwan go to the forest reserve munko mine. And it is going on. Individuals know them out, no, and ordinary person or a party impending for be any more, and also Sasani man the show. So, at the end of the day, Sir Galamsey Jin Samuna Sawopo be or Babwamana fights here. You cannot rely on the president. So, bet me a baby. And until citizens in Tanasia who say, Nipa no do minus, so say, a mamu na quest a tip on cost or mamuna yebu. So, what daho? Thinking said the president on his own will act, you are lying because and that Ghana needs to come free baby. I'm a catcher say, and I ain't even China and Kobosia. Yentim ko your friends say Paris Club also my Bosia. You can't go anywhere for a loan because our credit score are very poor. Nibabia Benya Sika free IMF and our World Bank the Bama Kakra, or Musika and Yesika door so bet him dead in some. So today, the only avenue for Akufo-Addo government going into this election a bit me Yesika to finance the elections, and they say Yama party impending phone to galamsey no munya sika na yeda finance. So that has become the only source of money. Abino enya to finance whatever enterprises be a ekoso. Enunti and a president are so important in the face of all these wreckage in our forest. On to me here, or no dimi those who are resisting said the galamsey must stop. No, he sees those people as an enemy. And then baby ababedru ene organized labor Ghana for young people and atiesi abonten but me ayeme de say ne organized labor who say indeed who here said they get involved in the politics of this country because 7 years ago so when some of us started people thought say we were doing it because anti-government, some kind of surrogate. We hated the government. People thought, oh, I'm for them, but and these people are now coming to the realization say, I buying burning the one team, I greed and the passion to destroy and okura. Na yes, open a time no. I ne omunyina who said there is the need to get involved. I started said the Bab Sika no. With this, Senate hotel sales, when they demonstrated, say indeed there were an enormous power on media control government to do the right thing. And then me and Master Matthias Roman Catholic for the 11th for more demonstration.
Yeah.
About Galamsey over the years, say now clergy, and involved in this particular thing. Now young continue Muram Kotoya Nara assassin because my catcher said by phone to Galamsey, Bosumin to Galamsey, and a home fee into Galamsey. And you won't to mean in Yanum to Galamsey. Yenimomo concession, we know where they are mining. So we are serious as a man of God that the best thing to do is to go to the corridors of power and vent your anger on the president. Tell him to do the right thing. But then you say it is never too late. Omababaka, it's all good say na ya babejina ha ya kabum say no. The fight against Galamsey no must stop. But there's a who say president as a nakoma apirim and he's not bothered. He doesn't care about this galamsey thing because that is the only way he's making money. And he say recently he appeared on France 24. I call your interview. But answer my interview no more. The first question you ask yourself is say Ghanaian media for the past 4 years in here, the Baina President Akufo-Addo availing to the Ghanaian media say you will miss the question. When was the last time? When was the last time the president had the courage to avail himself to the Ghanaian media? Say, Mama Muenie, Mona Midimoso, you are within the frontiers. Ask me question. When was the last time you hear that? Because he cannot face them. Because questions don't be no, he cannot answer. And into also an Hoko France 24. I heard here question you about the man na ubisana na umbisani ya na ni buofu na oma cheeky answers na say for when he went there they told him say we are somebody alright day on protestation demonstration as a potent political instrument that would rise to political prominence. And baby or baby demonstration is largely part because Akufo-Addo on the stage sheme prekon reme prekon kabimi prekon whole lots of prekon nyina na ka ho bi and then we bedru obi abedru na say obi ye demonstration for a good cause. How then do you imprison a person? President say on your court on your police ni no nyon na chichi ni pagum but case where ekwe from where I sit a case of misdemeanor because destruction to property no. To what extent? Because to charge somebody for second degree felony, and I think the cost estimation of the item destruction should be around 1 million Ghana cedis and over. One year cost estimation, what has been destroyed? And everyone is saying, and Attorney General better keep the prosecutorial power from the police. I will be our New York or the president, and Beton Kraba say, case the moment to Attorney General, a prosecute. It means the president has an interest in that case. And Jeffrey police for some, and indeed, this guy followed through to ensure that these people will not be granted bail. And they've been in custody for more than 1 week. Beginning, you know, call prison custody. Omonto omonao, omonko fa obeyere. Ena omunto ejan to omanum. These are people who demonstration. They never fought. Just videos no yenyina yehu niam mo ye ya echese se be mo ya de bia ehu because when they do something and so wrong, we cannot come and sit here and support it. What I say, yenyina yehu de see here. Not to put these people in prison custody for 2 weeks and then as for that cause. You know. Yawo Amnesty International Ghana has say several civil society organizations well all involved. So no, I didn't of course the time a Magana democracy ni luku a bit way and tentem na yenyin no. The lawyers of these people filed application our court more requested for your friend saying a bail for them. The state your friend saying attorney na nkasa court oppose this thing on 2 occasions. Mu deny mu bail. The buyer na yakase yamomo 70,000 plus 2 sureties for each individual and that's 70,000 700 million plus 2 sureties. So we are talking about non-movable where you're like a house and then that's for na sebi obia why you cool crown your money baila you decided about tono so a chrow Sunday man when you know dead demonstrate said a bino aya galamsey na ekoso aya the government's trophy aya avenue you making money. They don't want anybody to your friends venture that particular area. And it's using the police, using the court to cow people into submission. Say, don't go there because that is our cash cow. So President Akufo-Addo any plan to stop galamsey. But you see, it's so sad as an ordinary person sitting somewhere and watching this whole event unfolding. Say, why will somebody's greed endanger the whole generation? And everybody will go quiet. Somebody's greed will endanger the whole generation. Because obi the consequences of this galamsey mine and then as for and the kitwa and when they attempt to do something, you know, you don't see anything. Now, Babs, I can't say be. So okay, galamsey na semna yeka started and galamsey has been there for several years. So then started yet. Yes, so okay places like Obuase and the mining areas now. Obi na nano to galamsey and now passing the torch to Neba. Nebana passing the torch to Obi. Even though they were not doing it at a larger scale. So to them, and yet a vocation, it is a vocation, full-time job or more life, dependent on that. So we are government, now we are serious. Indeed, galamsey is menace and it's destroying our forest. We really need to do something. What you do is to come up with a strategic framework, a plan. I will substitute to creating a viable job opportunities. Man for no, when you are moving them away from the galamsey, you are giving them an alternative. Because Obia won't cry 540 mining area, galamsey no to the Henema. If you take away the livelihood, that the person will die surviving, they will not go. So as a government, I will say, alternative livelihood, ben ya dwene ho, ya nwene ho, tese ya da sorry ya, and that is consistent with this damn government. Ne niyama oye, my typical example. Abra ba say toll booth in the engine free horn. Uhu de see ye. Somebody just woke up a day, ka say toll booth ye twem. Enti ye nua no ma mo nan ya mo ya wa sorry okwa adwuma bi okwa adwuma na oye no da kwaje bosia no. Ya mo na mane anya hwe o. Oda sorry ye say toll booth ye twem. Onkwa adwuma. And nobody is compensating anybody. And on my life, only God knows where they are. Free SHS eba. The government wrote the free SHS as a political reparation package. My promise was say, Mama mu free education. Nobody sat down, thought it through, came up with a strategic framework plan. I bet guarantee source of funding. How our problems never to expand your school. Nobody thought about it. Kasi ya de bana de patapano one side after and a hunsun sanso and that's what we see a neck. Sana galamsey dia no kokoye. And we cried there. Or the only thing they did, they say. Nipa na omu to galamsey no our communities no you stop your mo and you give you power and everything to party people to mine and one necessary and a mine na koswa ne Ghana for you who said no see ya tenase the near to a buying so a buying ni beye bibia. And at this point there are people you expect to say omo kasa se binyansa bebam because you see so leadership position around sometimes it's not always about the who free say you gauge the mood, the pulse of the country, sentiment being expressed by the people nationwide. Every single television, radio station is talking about this. And you have high-ranking officials in government. Mete say as a woman organizer kotena baby say, galamsey ni do mo stopping and then stopping or chana. No mo do best stop e. Na mo be lose election. You say papa be a friend Gideon Boako se hwan. Or say Ghana for a hypocrite na. Adentina Odo River daho na your friend say I'm for complaining about rivers are then soon as for and this person they tell you this person is a PhD holder. So sometimes you begin to wonder, said the government you see who this whole thing, and I'm telling you sir, or ya banya or you serious indeed the fight against galamsey no are you ready for it? When you make this comment certain sanctions will follow. And again me to say as a mineral commission boss say John Mahama pencil na your friend say, "A man for 2 galamsey." No, mama. When I can say John Mahama pencil, a man for 2 galamsey, and I say John Mahama pencil, a man for 2 galamsey. Does it mean say, "Baby, we should all go quiet and young for the arms because John Mahama has been out of power for 7 good years. For Christ's sake, you say you are coming to make things better. So it is childish and infantile. So stop it for anybody on his right senses at this point in time to make a reference to 7 years ago, as I see, when we know the problem I had to very real, and people who are into the galamsey are high ranking government officials are minimum. The question is, then to stop this galamsey. And then, my proposal is quite simple. We are Ghanaian, we are average Ghanaian youth, wherever you find yourself, or community. So who's a man for say na the best thing you can do, no violence. Make sure say you arrest the people and take them to the police. Whether they will act or not, that is up to you. But no violence, stop the people because Abina has demonstrated that Abina a tepon koso Abina would when it tono so o kidney no level in Abasai. They won't do a 10 to ensure that they protect our environment. Because to have the audacity at this time to give authorization to people to go to the forest reserve. Forest reserve na ye kan hwasem no ebeto ho Kwame Nkrumah pencil ebeto ho Rollins pencil. Rollins was a soldier with a gun and he could have instructed people to go into these areas and mine, get the money, not the kogu ni kurom, but he felt say odini paso Mills be president, Kufuor be 8 years, Mahama be president. So you think that these people, they have allowed people to go into the mining area, this forest reserve are mine. So the question is, at the end of the motivation, I'm a president, I'm a man for 2 means a monko forest reserve. Yet here, and a forest reserve, you declassify and a man for, and a chimota forest, part of it is gone. Legon Cross School near Dahona, build you have a land near there, Chiloka, can acquire a diamond for a CCC. So, a mamoni, you know, I say, a property grabbing government. yes san de man yan san ntamanko yan to gold ntamanko anya sika na ban for no ba that will be our end. So to them, if you take away the politics na who na me say a complete steal hour, whichever way, whichever means, even if it means a Ghana for you now will perish, they don't care. Is the reason why you see this your friend saying hasty and rushy attempt by government to ensure say they silence everybody, they cow everybody using the police and the court as an instrument to deter people from say people rise by ne. So working union organized labor that as for nyina tena se ahunyansa hu se babi aduri nema na say awie na mbom de aka se yebo ho ban a we welcome all of them. Say this is a time for us to demonstrate to government. The bigger demonstration I told you last week. But
some unions be to you,
okay.
12 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yes, say Ghana National Association of Teachers. That is NATS.
Okay.
NATS for any other unions. Omoye meeting this year.
Okay.
Report to the more. One more other unions no NATS account be.
Okay.
Any other unions will be a stage a workout.
Okay.
From the organized labor's crucial meeting na Omoye. They are there to deliberate on plans for that potential strike now. Or schedule for China. And then confusion TSCC Meno. Other unions, union leaders, I don't know how they are doing their things, but you see, I think sir Sadia will say no. Sir Ebinumi Omokwasa, said the media no a blacklist some unions.
Yeah, okay.
Because sometimes to discuss more condition of service.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Ghana Medical Association, Monamba Kachire and say last month on the 10th, our president, Dr. Frank Sribo, came to tell us that this is the issue. It's a ban Sodia. Say Nabeba.
Yeah.
Now, not to also as any other unions. And yet to the meeting when ahead of China, simply because a minimum was soft spot at the ruling party or government. Etimi MPP Nintino, Moya Sabema Bana popular. Then, oh yes, sir, you are not a leader. You're not thinking right.
Yes.
You are talking about a dear, a betimi, a queen nada. A dear betimama, ya dear, a TSC Ghana. Even crown a crabbing boy and one poi. Yen facility to be containing. Your friend said, I COVID the buy. And yet, John Mama now Romano CC facilities be say UGMC. And other facilities are by Grand Peso baby. Boss, I can't find a crocodile.
Yeah, it's true.
Not mumunim the threats ahead of us. Not munina beba as one unit to demonstrate. You are telling us that now you come and tell us that all condition of service. Ebema was sitting aye. Now we should follow you and give you the platform to speak your nonsense to Ghanaians.
Sir, Muna, why would him say your labor unions and associations in over the years? As pure politics over the years and space in my even some people within the MPP can say they will break the front. And you see, sir, we are people may say your motivation has always been money, greed, then as a forum. And obviously, when you hear some of these things, it was likely say a basic. But with the Ghana Medical Association there, the only way me want to say the union can show solidarity with the demonstration. But you see, because of the critical services, our medical doctors and nurses render no. Ukasa wudi aban tipon koku so we chia, you end up punishing a lot more people at the hospital. That is one thing. But the difficulty I have, me ready and say, according to some of the doctors, cerebral and table this particular thing before them. Anyone discuss it. Yes, which is wrong. Yeah. Because ideally, say yes, doctors from hospitals so Juma. As the strike goes on, I understand because I've been at the hospital. I understand some of these things, but to take a unilateral decision without consulting your executive, is highly unacceptable. And so, William Srebu, I'm not sure, because he was the GMA General Secretary between 2015, 2014, 2020 into. So we know who he is. But at this point, me say. Let us use every resources, available resources, to go after this government to ensure, say, they will make sure, say, you will save ourselves. Because yen to me fire home to a bind, so a bind will save us at this point. Because Akufo-Addo has demonstrated clearly, say, ono amma for the ordinary Ghanaian. Wama for the average Ghanaian. Wama because teacher ni ye hiani or beboa mo abrabo ye and anesi ni or beboa build the future before young people to take advantage. He has demonstrated that he came purposely to take care of his family, make sure that his family people make money, and then they've gotten the money in abundance. And some of them are exiting clearly. Can Oforiatta go and check the mess I will leave in his wake away and hoko. And then says at Antimedia to the baby, likely it's over back to government or not, the mess they've created. The president very soon will leave the mess and go away. So Ghana, no, at the end of the day, so is the reason why we are worker union, we organize labor, we are who. Now, but say I'm a break you front because you want money. Because these people have demonstrated, say, once you want money, they will give it to you just to ensure, say, you sabotage whatever that is going on. And in the end, you know, the fight against Galamsey, no, young sociedia, a call against Yenina, because Argentina, a mountain, a yadium kogu prison, no cry, no, that should have been enough, your friend saying, signal. I be my organized labor stage demonstration will chroma say because you see we are against Galamsey. That's what we call a protest. Now a bino take law into on one casa now the Sankrofo Koshe prison. Now be a me and no. That alone, no, I think defeated the whole essence and purpose. So some of these things, organized labor, teacher union fighting among themselves. You see, Rollins some of the greedy bastards are still in some of these space. So don't be surprised. And always, you know, government will have a way of string controlling some of these people with money just to ensure a bigger agenda no will be sabotaged. Okay. So it's sure.
Okay, another letter 3 minutes ago, GPRT is almost so much GPRT of TUC, almost so sometimes you see your crata you sign it, you know. Nipa no sign it any dino, but nipa signature no ho no. Any actual public relations officer and a number of but nipa ni ho signature no no. I don't know some crofobia church or letter the unions no. Yeah. Which is possible. Yeah. Some crofobia number be a church or letter because and crucial because what China the neighbor no. Boss, mammy to you.
I think say first and foremost, no information out there be we need to get some time to verify because a lot of things are happening. We say a man for taking political stance case and who say the decision the labor unions are taking and organized labor are taking a direct bearing on their political fortunes because in the few months to come they are quite into elections into a principle baby manufacture let us not the just to create a certain semblance of some disunity amongst the labor union ahead of their meetings holding. Therefore, say we should wait to get an official confirmation from these labor unions, and then we can make an informed submission and input on the ECOS war. I mean, first and foremost, them say the labor unions for MBQ on this year is as a direct result of abanya the lack of commitment and the lack of political will to fight this menace. I can't want to say friend I'm saying. Now, answer me question. I picked an information from the Mineral Commission Chief Executive. Now, sure, I said he's always been lamenting, and in his lamentation, of say oyin who free near question who say, and you say be on yen ejumao. Ejuman di or yet, but or any ejumani we are your other state agency also some or two or more so a ye. Then you are a could repay you. Look, when we say last 2 days, Yard Becca say a man for a ball almost to boss it, almost my licenses. But what they are saying is there are activities here, Coswa, Yemo, be a permit all yet. And these activities are much state agencies like the police who have the powers to arrest and subsequently prosecute but they don't take action. And they make specific reference to a police station in Yinam. Also, Ghana police station in Yinam, they have had a cause to complain to the police force. Namutina, Mechi, no two Zagalam police station, Yaman permita, Munya Hoshi. So you be asking yourself, why should the police of a whole police force unit sit there? Now, ye to galamsey the part to the mineral commission application was ye ma permit ye man permit here and to the extent what makes that statement means that any pan illegal. So being illegal, what are you supposed to do as a police? You have to take it out from there by arresting. But one yet now your gruma and President Bass Yamaniska na near building the our fight galamsey or call parliament I got 300 million Ghana city say over 30 different forces on the court bush na omako de omako fight ye galamsey na tie 2022 na tia akunta mine nsem ebeto dwa say akunta mine take over your forest reserves omudi akutile oh Mineral Commission came out ebe ka share young Ghanaians for management say nukuri na mianim akunta mine a mining leases mienu baku Samurai boy ina omno de ma akunta mine onye adwuma. But Nimri Forest Reserve no there. No claim no man permit biaye. And Minister of Lands and Natural Resources also obey signing permit na go to man permit biaye. In that extent no nyaoye on illegal.
GPR2 for they are verify on crata not from the PRO. Was there no correct?
Okay.
It is coming from their end.
Okay, so
now be bintina one more aya into body will join later.
Okay, so we'll look at that discussion again. But even though it's quite unfortunate.
Otro crata now sign for the show.
Exactly. We say one our
signature no number there.
And because I heard him. I mean, a few days ago, how confident he sounded and how convincing he sounded on why they wanted to join this strike. But unfortunately, saying that they are bowing out. But we need to verify to see what was their reasons for bowing out. We'll look at that later. And you know, if the Mineral Commission abeyin way through aside the minister cross and or ma a friend say akunta mining any way leads to go and mine in there. And it didn't even end there, me bra. Almost as that in Timo say, minister are taking steps to get akunta mine to move their equipment, mining equipment from the forest reserves. Why is akunta mining getting all this kid glove approach to the infiltration of our forest? That's where the commitment for me comes in. Because Adibia Koso be about the say Akoda mining expose came in 2022, somewhere in October. Yeah. Then in January 2023, Ken Ashidbe and his team had to go to IGP and OSP to charge them to investigate the mining activities under Akunta mining, because some people say near all say a forest reserve. While they were waiting for the outcome of the investigation, then hurriedly in the same 2023, IGP OSP somewhere in November, then secretly LI24 assist2 is passed to legalize a mining.
That LI came in 2022.
Check it was 2023.
2022.
Check the date and see. I 2023 November. LI2462. Check the date and see. And so it was a calculated attempt to, and I was surprised that Parliament never saw that. How I don't know how it was passed anyway. Because for me, if indeed at the time issues it was at its crescendo, a man for a can who has some na yet be sa lawyer Basi and Passy. I be my crime your blu forest war. Na Emana Quest I did. But it happened. I don't know only Akunta mining any allies to move their machines into our forest and degrade. Today, Mineral Commission has come to tell us so far 5,000 hectares of our forest have been destroyed. And to be able to reclaim this destroyed 5,000 hectares too, each hectare be able to cost 125,000. Say now cumulative calculations on how much we will require to reclaim the entire 5,000 hectares. You are talking about 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. So if you come for 300 million from us to go and fight a menace, now our scorecard is that we need additional 1.1 billion to be able to reclaim lands that has been destroyed as a result of illegal mining now. Because what we have given you, 3 times what we have given you to go and solve a problem. And that is, for me, it's a failure on the part of this government. Because it's an interest in being able to come out to fight it is a problem. Look, it's only in Ghana that you will find, say, a home minister ya pound say on no oil minister in charge of other ministers to fight this galamsey under the interministerial committee on illegal mining. Now the chairman of the committee at the investigative report abba and say report no aside individuals associated with the government. The first response of the government is a catalogue of frustration and grievances by the chairman. Can you imagine this? Even before the AG had to come to investigate, what man the verdict? Are you talking about such a government being committed to a cause like that? Anything for me, I have always said, say, look, if we want to get to the bottom of this matter, the labor unions came out with strong points. One, almost immediately abandoning moving out equipment, mining equipment from these areas, both the water bodies and the forestry. Two, or as I catch abandoning, as I manu who say, the people who are also there mining, and was say make sure so whether around the water bodies or within the forest, you move out. I will declare a state of emergency. Today I was listening to the government. I'm saying, oh, mama, red zones within the forest area. Red zones affecting who? Because if you say you have just declared, say the forest areas are red zones, I am a miner. I have a license to mine in the forest area, and so to the extent that the law that mandates me to mine in the forest, you can cancel that law. It means that my license to mine is still valid, and I can still go in there. So who are you targeting when you say you have what set up a red zone in that area? And you know that for me cannot be a commitment to fight. We are saying that suspend, and you see. So
me to say as we speak now. All our forest reserve and your red zone according to the current law.
Exactly. On say per pressure now about immediately on what declare say it is for now no. But our forest reserve are a red zone area.
I don't know unrepealed law no.
That is the point. So because you can call for Parliament to immediately be summoned to indeed go into the and revoke it immediately, so that anybody of that license be under that law.
Document
becomes void. Yeah. But as we speak now, red zoning alone doesn't invalidate my license. That's true. Because I have a license that I acquired under a certain law that exists. That still has life.
Binding at the buy.
Binding at the buy of the man.
Say I'm going forest to go to.
And to carry red zone, one hour targeting. Then you are targeting will be on their license. And that's what we are talking about. And the circumstances where we find ourselves, you say people have licenses, but they are mining irresponsibly. It is the depleting the forest reserve, and you see the consequence of these actions. Where is our Greek? Today, our cocoa and the boy who's has it not falling? And then look, I say there's a threat. Say in the next few years to come, the rate at which we import good foods to about triple to be able to meet our food needs in this country. So there's a food security crisis looming as we speak. Ghana Water has already told us 6 years to come, 2030, and then 2024, 2023. So 6 to 7 years to come, you better cancel about Kruma and say the Tiban soon at the Amagana for. At what cost? Are we thought about it? Say they better the Kruma and I see you sooner or later the manage. You're told the same. Now, pray the Baba cancel by Nyamaye. Now you're told the same. My Tibia use in our homes. And then it will shock you. So we'll be buying water in the next 5-6 years, just as we are buying malt and Fanta. And if today you need 12 cedi to buy water to survive just in a minute or two, who's guys saying? And we are saying that it is as a result of an activity of a few greedy, irresponsible, reckless individuals. Backing from the government and then so if the government is listening to the Ekanwa, what we are saying is simply. The demands of the labor union for me is valid. It shouldn't ask us to give him time. You have only 60 days to go. Wait time again. A whole 7.5 years, 7 years and 8 months. Say 10 months. I want to as you do as now can time. That is why I'm getting disappointed when people pull out gradually from this call. But for me, the fact was and they were locked up in a meeting at the presidency, giving all the relevant ministries related to this activity. Tells us This government is under pressure, and that is very important for us to state. And they shouldn't take their leg off the paddle. Make sure say they will go to the full hog. Nenya results say nya yepesi fimu. Many man be say gi okupanyin. Your friend saying.
Yeah, I Kofi Juma.
Very reckless statement.
Kofi Juma say the staff of the
who catch the
Now our banks is who are you?
Exactly. And do you also know say
I'm
very aware.
Yeah,
It's ono who say
yes.
Make I say depending mercy.
Yes.
I don't blame him. But what he must know is say every worker under the law have a right to join a union. And the unions do have a right to embark on legitimate industrial actions. And who knew who quite as a CEO to say so depending embark on a lawful way industrial action. I mean, some of these things can happen on party platforms. But unfortunately, on respect to more man no. Me see the comments no. I think the
organs who can say her phone is a okra.
Look at it.
Can't find so. Some guys are temo yare.
Exactly, I saw him.
When about him, the Kofi and him, the Kofi sono.
When I saw him, I was like, wow, is that the man?
Oh, can't kakra bina. Now, can you money be at the no? Quite offers one. Cassiano, and then what are in the party? Yanko and the Maquatas was a Galam says you the Monfantum. I bet you any kama. It is so musuin and Aquatas webwam. It's you know a bois a cum and wa wusu emusumoa. Yam for your name who are more anafis if a year fina a fin sum ticana shannon so. It's a board of be a tuntu no be a course of aquatap tablet in the at all, but open chichi will be 0209 077726. Lion Aluminium Limited for the roofing sheets be abba. It's your roofing materials, you know. We see a name come out, sunset. We are in the month of October. Now discount to honum. Now say time wa she. What you are saying? T say okoto ade no bi say obeche ubia. I know ma na boto. Etu oye contractor na utime. Real estate developer na utime. Ana individual bia usi dan na open roofing sheet papa.